Hello and welcome to the first Civil Liberties broadcast. I'm Author Chad Kister, the host of this broadcast, and the purpose of this is to repeal the Patriot Act and provide a forum for people around the world for police brutality and police misconduct issues. Now, I know firsthand that there are many bad apples in our police departments, and often they are protected by fraternal orders of police, fascist orders of police, a better term for many of them, and we need to weed these bad apples out because they are murdering people, they are framing people, they are putting innocent people in prison as we speak. Now, when I was sitting down peacefully in a demonstration in Washington, D.C., and a part of a protest to protect our environment and get the World Bank to be more responsible to reduce greenhouse gas emissions instead of funding coal power plants as they had been doing, I was brutally assaulted by Metropolitan Police Department of the District of Columbia. They broke 3 of my ribs and almost killed me. Now, I did sue them and got $60,000, but that's nothing compared to a near-death experience that should have been at least a $250,000 settlement, if not into the millions. And the officer who attacked me is still on duty. And the police chief is still police chief. Charles Ramsey was the chief of Washington, D.C.'s police department. Now he is the chief of the Philadelphia Police Department. He is continuing to rain terror on the people of Philadelphia. He needs to be removed from office and put in prison. I was also beaten by an Athens County Sheriff deputy. I sued the Athens County Sheriffs and got $15,000. I was also had a false arrest from an Athens City police officer. That same officer had arrested me for leading a peace demonstration through the city of Athens, and the city had dropped charges, and he admitted that he was just retaliating and just made up a bogus charge. I beat that charge and got another $15,000 suing the Athens City Police Department. So I have tens of thousands of pages of court documents proving how my civil liberties have been violated. Now, many people mistakenly think of the Patriot Act as something that's necessary for our national security. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It creates a clandestine government, a secret government that is involved in state-sponsored terrorism. In fact, 9/11 could have been prevented without the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act was instituted, it created martial law in our government, a march towards tyranny. I see the United States of America as very similar to Germany in the 1930s. It's also very important that President Obama live up to his promise of having the most transparent administration in history. That means a repeal of the Patriot Act. That means an investigation of everything that has happened under the Patriot Act and intensive prosecution of violations of civil liberties that have occurred. We also need to repeal the law that gave retroactive immunity to telecommunication companies. Just like we retroactively gave them immunity to the Constitution, we can restore constitutional rights and investigate the misdeeds that they have done. A good example of FBI misdeeds is what happened in Morgantown, West Virginia. There is an international group, Hospice International, that helps elderly people get medical care and help them through the end of their lives. This is a wonderful organization, and they held a fundraiser in which they got donated prom dresses that were then sold at very low costs to West Virginia teenage girls. This helps the impoverished girls in West Virginia get to prom, because often prom dresses and the cost of them is the reason why so many people don't go to proms, which is a major part of many people's lives, as it was for me. And what happened was the FBI had 2 employees that stationed video cameras, and they watched the teenage girls as they changed clothes, trying on prom dresses. They violated the rights of hundreds of teenage girls in West Virginia, and they also harmed Hospice International. Now, two agents, Charles Homima and Gary Sutton, were charged with criminal invasion of privacy, but they were just given a slap on the wrist and not even fired. That is the way the FBI operates. They let their employees do whatever they want, and when they happen to get caught, they're just given a slap on the wrist and nothing happens. Another case is what happened with Judy Berry. Judy Berry was a labor organizer and an environmentalist, and she got loggers supporting environmentalists in California to save the redwoods because they realized that by having select cut, they could have logging jobs forever versus the clear cut where all the trees would be gone, the ecosystem would be shattered, and there would be no jobs. Well, this got the FBI very concerned. You start having labor and the environment organizing together, you have a very powerful movement. And the FBI is employed by the coal industry and the logging industry that buys off the agents through bribery and gets them to do their misdeeds. That's exactly what happened in Northern California in 1991, where FBI agents bombed Judy Berry and Daryl Cherney and then arrested them for allegedly bombing themselves. That's the insanity of the fascist bunch of intimidators that we still have in the United States of America. Now, the charges were dropped against Judy Berry and Daryl Cherney. I know Daryl Cherney personally. I was on a walk with him, an 850-mile walk around Ohio that I organized. He was involved in walking and playing music for the Northern Ohio portion of that walk. And he's a very peaceful person, a singer-songwriter, and he was severely injured in the bomb blast. Judy Berry was also seriously injured, and she later died of complications from that blast. The FBI are bombers, they're terrorists, they're murderers, and the heirs of Judy Berry got a $4.4 million settlement from the FBI, proving that the FBI bombed them. There's no question it happened. There are tens of thousands of pages of court documents to prove it. The question is, why do we still have the federal bunch of intimidators? These fascists in office, they need to be brought to justice. We need to repeal the Patriot Act and investigate abuses that have occurred in our country. Our country was founded upon civil liberties protection. That is one of the main reasons that we broke from the English redcoats and formed our own country, is that we were tired of having the redcoats just break into people's homes, search, and take what they wanted. Well, that's the exact kind of country we are creating today with the Patriot Act. We have FBI agents that just go into people's homes and search, take stuff, poison people, and get away with it. We have got to stop this. They have got to be brought to justice. Please email your stories to chadkister@gmail.com. Give me a call at 740-753-3888. I would like to hear your stories of police repression around the world. This broadcast is not just for people in the United States. It is a global broadcast. I'm also concerned about the lengthy detention of some Greenpeace activists in Copenhagen, Denmark, for simply unfurling a banner peacefully. They were put in jail for more than 3 weeks. This kind of oppression has got to be stopped. Now, I encourage you to contact your local FBI office and find out what they have done using the Patriot Act. Obama has pledged the most transparent government in history. Let's see it. I recently called my local FBI office, as I do regularly, asking them for information about what they have done under the Patriot Act in Athens County, Ohio. Here is the response.